Hi guys, I'm Hillary Muelleck, a North Carolina wedding photographer, and welcome back to another episode on my YouTube channel. Today is the start of a new year. It is January of 2023, and so I wanted my first video of the year to just be an introduction of me, and just so you can get to know a little bit or get to know the person behind the camera a little bit more. And so in this video, I'm just going to be talking about basically where I grew up, where I went to college, just what got me to this point. And then I also have a little bit of announcement at the end of this video too, so make sure to watch until the very end. So introducing me, I am Hillary Muelleck, former Hillary Call is my maiden name, and I grew up in Southern California in a town called Apple Valley. Apple Valley is located kind of in between Vegas and LA. So I was about 3 hours from Vegas, about 2 hours from LA, about an hour and a half from the beach. Grew up going to Disneyland and Six Flags, going to the beach. That's kind of what I did in my upbringing. I played on the softball team and played water polo, did swim team. What else? I was also in choir. I love to sing, and so I was in a choir in high school, and then I also participated in a lot of the school plays and school musicals. So that's kind of what I did in early days of Hillary Muelleck being in school, grade school, and through high school. So in 2009, I graduated high school. I moved to Utah and went to Utah State University, and my major was in speech and language pathology. After my freshman year, that summer in between my first and second year of college, I met my husband in Utah State. They do this weird thing where you can't stay in your student housing year round because all of the retired people who live in Arizona will come up to Logan, Utah, which is where Utah State is located, and stay in the student housing over the summer because Arizona's too hot in the summer, so they'll come up and be in the mountains. And so because of that, we were always constantly moving around. So my husband and I had to move out of student housing, and we met in just summer housing for the summer, and then we continued to date throughout the school year, and we actually got married the following summer in 2011. So that's when we got married, is July 21st, 2011. While I was in college majoring in speech and language pathology, I actually developed a love for photography. So I wasn't one of those people who loved photography since I was a kid, and my great-grandfather gave me my first camera and all this stuff. That wasn't my story at all. I was originally drawn to speech pathology because I loved the idea of the flexibility and the different careers that I could have, and the flexibility with my schedule, and that I could potentially be a speech therapist out of my home at some point. And anyways, so when I was in college, I ended up coming across some people who owned their own videography business, and they just loved it. They got to be creative. They got to make their own schedule. They got to work from home and have this flexibility in their careers and in their schedules and make good money. And I thought, oh, that's so cool. And so I kind of got interested in photography because of that, and I got my first DSLR camera in those early years of college, but I didn't really plan on that point making it into a career. I just thought this is a really cool creative outlet that I want to explore. And then after I got married in 2011, and after working with my own wedding photographer and wedding venues, I just fell in love with the wedding industry and just thought, I think this is what I want to do. I want to be a wedding photographer. In working with our own wedding photographer, she was a mother of 3 at the time, and we met with her in her home office, and I just loved how personable she was and just the flexibility in her life, and that she could have this really amazing career, but then also have this really amazing home life as well. So that's what originally drew me to wedding photography. So this was in 2011, and then in 2013, I shot my first solo wedding. So in between 2011 and 2013, I was second shooting and mentoring and just trying to figure out as much as I could about photography and wedding photography specifically. Did some second shooting to just have that opportunity to work with other people and learn under them and get exposed to more weddings, because I hadn't been to a lot of weddings at that point. And so in 2013, I shot my own wedding. And then in 2014, my husband and I graduated college. I graduated with my degree in speech and language pathology, and he actually got into medical school in Pennsylvania. So in 2014, we relocated to Pennsylvania, and I had full intentions at that point in pursuing a full-time photography business. So the first couple years in Pennsylvania, while my husband was doing medical school, I worked for the school district as a autistic support aide, just kind of doing that during the day. And then in the evenings, I would shoot sessions. Weekends, I would shoot weddings, and eventually built my photography business up enough to, in 2016, I quit the school district altogether, was a full-time wedding photographer. We moved into a townhouse. We got our dog Boris, and it was just so great. I felt like I was living the dream. I was like, this is awesome. We have money. I have this amazing job where I can work from home, and we got to move into this bigger place. We got a dog. Just, it felt like everything was falling into place, and that this was the career that I was supposed to be in. And it was so great. Then in 2018, my husband got into residency here in North Carolina. So we moved down here. We bought our first home, and I have since, being in this home currently, I have loved renovating all the different rooms in the house and decorating and making it my own. And that's just been a really great thing about moving and being here in our first home in North Carolina. So some other things about me that I currently love. So obviously I love renovating and decorating. That's been a great source of creativity for me as we've been in our first home. I also really love to read. My genre that I lean towards is romance or fantasy fiction. I've made a previous video on my top favorite books that I've read this last year in 2022. You can go and watch that if you want. Or if you follow me on Instagram, I frequently post books that I have really loved that I've read recently. So you can follow my most current reads on there. In addition to reading, I also love hanging out with my dog, our dog Boris. He is a Dogue de Bordeaux, which is a French Mastiff. He's currently 6.5 years old, and I love spending my time with him. I hang out with him at home. I take him on a walk every day. And then when my husband has weekends off, we all love going on little weekend getaways together with the three of us, me, my husband, and Boris. Some of our favorite weekend getaways that we've done while we've been living here is going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, going to Charleston in South Carolina. We've loved going to the Outer Banks and Topsail Beach here in the Carolinas. We've also loved visiting Asheville and doing the Biltmore Estate there. That's been really great. And I mean, I just feel like we have done so many weekend trips. We've done a weekend trip in Lake Lure, which was so fun. We went paddleboarding on the lake there. Anyways, that's just something that we have really been liking to do recently with any free time that we get where we both have weekends off, is we will take our dog and just do a weekend getaway somewhere. So now it is the start of 2023, and we are still in North Carolina, but big announcement, we are actually going to be moving this summer. We got a job, my husband got a job down in the Spartanburg, Greenville, South Carolina area. So if you're familiar, that's just really right over the border of North Carolina. It's so close to the North Carolina, South Carolina border. So we're going to be moving down there this summer, but I still 100% plan on keeping all my North Carolina clients because we're going to be so close still. And then also I'm excited about branching my business down into South Carolina since we're going to be living in South Carolina at that point. So I guess at the beginning of my YouTube videos now, I won't just say I am a North Carolina wedding photographer. I will be both a North and South Carolina wedding photographer, or just a photographer for the Carolinas. And then I also do destination weddings a handful of times a year as well. So that's kind of our big announcement, is that my husband got a job. As soon as he's done with his fellowship this summer, we will be moving down there. And of course, I will be continuing with my weddings here in North Carolina. And then I'm also excited to branch down into South Carolina as well. And we're excited for this new adventure for us. Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited for a new year, 2023, a new year of new YouTube videos, new topics, and just a fresh start. I love starting fresh and just having new things, new goals, and new things to work on every year in my business and in my personal life. And I hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week for another YouTube episode. Bye, guys.